The University of Chicago announced that they would be closing Yerkes Observatory and that they would not be able to transfer the property to a new entity by October. So in June, we made the decision that we would try and save the programs that were operating at Yerkes Observatory by forming a new nonprofit.
When they came in to announce that they were closing, I believe I was the only manager in the building. So they told me. And it was a gut punch because we had no clue. Nobody had any clue. And I was then tasked with telling everybody else. I wasn't able to experience what I should have gone through, the grief. I think it took several months before, probably even after October, before I could just let it hit me, because I was taking care of everybody else the whole time. Joining GLAS made that path for me to be useful and to carry on what we were doing.
GLAS Education's mission was pretty clear when we started off, was to preserve and sustain programs formerly operated by Yerkes Education Outreach. A year later, we really decided that we needed to do more and to really look at all of Yerkes programs and look forward to what is the future of these programs with the aim of returning them to the buildings.
IDATA is innovators developing accessible tools for astronomy. It's a $2.5 million National Science Foundation grant that was put in place in order to work on the development of astronomical concepts for people who can't see. My name is Chris Matthews, and I am one of the visually impaired undergraduate students who has done a lot of work with Yerkes Observatory and GLAS Education. I was born at 26 weeks, and I have a condition called retinopathy of prematurity. Essentially what this has resulted in is the fact that for my entire life I have been visually impaired. I do have some vision and use it where I can, but I also do things like reading Braille and using a cane. A lot of my contributions to Yerkes and to GLAS have revolved around trying to improve the astronomy accessibility situation with specifics to people with blindness or low vision. So much of astronomy now is moving away from having to look through a lens and graph things out on a piece of paper and move towards purely data. It's all numbers. And really what needs to happen for those with blindness or low vision to have the ability to interpret these numbers is that we need to make those numbers interpretable. So some of the ways that that can happen are through 3D printing. We can touch things to find out colors and the brightness of stars. We can sonify data. So we can take the data, run it through a computer, and spit it back out as sound. Then I can hear the differences on stacked images, for example, of a moving object. I could tell you what kind of galaxy we're looking at based on the sound that's emitting from sonification. And what that allows for is these are just the beginning steps of representing data.
So we were doing things for NASA, and we were doing things for the South Pole. We have instruments on Mars. That kind of stuff was shared with everybody. I don't have a word for it, but it's awesome to be in an environment that can produce such quality stuff.
Students are still able to do research on variable stars, or as part of a project called Lakeshore Environmental Night Sky Sensors. We're trying to build a remotely operable sky quality meter. Emotionally, it's up and down. I mean, we have the payoff of every day getting to do programs with the public. And so that really bridges and band-aids us through the times when we're slogging over the spreadsheets and seeing how to make the ends meet. And if we didn't have that, if we weren't really active in the community, it would be tough.
Even if it's a 15-minute tour, it's all contributing to the community and to the world.
so satisfying when you get to do a star party, and when somebody looks at Saturn for the first time and is dancing around and exclaiming that they think it was pasted onto the front of the telescope. That's what gets you through the next thing. Or when you have a success and somebody's able to analyze a piece of data that they weren't able to independently before, or you've made somebody's astronomy wish come true. Those are all things that matter, and they get you through.
Touching a picture is great, but I think the problem is so many people assume that that's it, right? That's the end of the line. Oh, they touched the moon. They understand astronomy now. Let's move on. And there's so much more that can and needs to be done. And so that's where a place like GLAS really comes in to focus, is that we need places, people, willing to look at those steps and take more of them so that we can move astronomy accessibility forward.